But first, even though the government recently launched a crackdown, young foreigners in Australia on working holiday visas are still being exploited and paid illegal rates. 7:30 has uncovered evidence that some are even told to put in fraudulent refugee claims. Many of them are employed by the companies that supply meat and chicken to Australia's biggest supermarkets. And as Matt Peacock reports, there are claims that the foreign workers' terms and conditions are being used as a precedent for local Australian employees.
Amy Chang recently joined the growing army of international workers in Australia's food production industry. She soon realised that her working holiday was anything but. Many Asian workers here are being overworked, underpaid and exploited.
Everyone thinks it's suck, it's very sick. Yeah, why we treat us not like a human, like maybe we're from the third world somewhere. Yeah, that's very sad. I want to cry now. Yeah.
Amy got a job here at Wagga Wagga's Tees-Cargill Meatworks.
First salary you got is from the 16, yeah, and the 3 months after, they get you 17.
She was employed after registering online with Australia's largest private labour hire agency, AWX, which actively recruits overseas workers in Mandarin.
It's a massive problem. Some 15,000 workers working in our industry right now, and there's around 100,000 workers that are working on 417 visa holders just from Taiwan alone.
AWX provides staff for meatworks around the country that supply major supermarket chains like Coles and Woolworths. Amy paid AWX $300 to do a training course in Sydney, and that's when her concerns began.
No one training us. It's just one boner. He's such very busy for his job. No one teach us. So we need to learn how to use the knife, and we're very scared to hurt ourselves.
For 3 weeks, while supposedly being trained, she and her colleagues toiled here for up to 11 hours a day for no pay.
No pay, no super, no anything.
Then she started work in Wagga at $17 an hour. Many AWX workers, like this one, too frightened to be identified, were given this form to sign, headed Application to Undertake Voluntary Overtime Hours.
Not voluntary. Just like forced you to overtime work. You don't have a choice. Yeah, you cannot say no because no choice for you. You need to sign your name. Otherwise, you need to get home. You need to go back to your home.
The AWX form says, "I've been advised that this work constitutes voluntary overtime hours and as such is payable at the current ordinary rate of pay." Recent pay slips obtained by 7:30 confirm the practice.
Normal hours, 38 hours, $16.86. That is the minimum rate of pay for every worker in the meat industry. Overtime hours, 10 hours and 25 minutes, $16.86. That's illegal. You can't pay workers ordinary rates of pay for overtime.
The union fears lower pay conditions will soon flow through to locally hired Australian workers too, who now also join AWX to get a job in Tees-Cargill Meatworks around the country. This is the Brisbane headquarters of the labour hire company AWX, and I've approached the company to see if somebody will answer questions about the rates of pay and the conditions, particularly for their foreign visa workers, but so far without success. AWX later told 7:30 its training programs are constantly monitored, that absolutely no one is forced to sign anything, and everyone is paid according to our statutory requirements. At other meatworking plants, conditions are even worse. Here at Beresfield, near Newcastle, Asian workers are exploited by a network of elusive Chinese-Australian labour hire agencies contracted by the giant Australian poultry producer Baiada.
Secret camera footage has captured the reality inside the factory. A relentless pace. Workers processing up to 47 chickens a minute.
Baiada's Steggles and Lilydale chickens are sold in chains like Coles, Woolworths and Kentucky Fried. A Four Corners program last month triggered a Senate and 2 state inquiries, police raids and a government task force.
Hands off the camera, hands off the camera.
You have to ask you to leave the site, mate. Okay. And shut the camera off.
But when 7:30 came here 2 weeks ago, little had changed. Backpackers are working 18 hours a day for $11 an hour and being housed by their agencies in crowded accommodation like this recently filmed carport for exorbitant rents.
$100 per week.
$100? That's a lot of rent.
Yeah.
To share a house?
Yeah, in a room shared with others.
Not very good place, not very dirty place. No hygiene, you can say. Because many people live together.
Baiada denies exploiting its workers and it's repeatedly declined interviews. Now, as well as illegal underpayments and tax evasion, an alarming new racket is being promoted by labour hire contractors, who are charging workers thousands of dollars to apply for phony asylum visas.
The agent just introduced that refugee visa that's more better. You got to right to work and you don't need to pay the student fees.
730's obtained copies of bogus refugee visa applications for Malaysian backpackers like this man. The plan is he'll appeal when it's declined, but continue to work in the meantime on a bridging visa for up to 18 months.
He told me just go to the interview and just make some story. You know, that's bullshit that we didn't care, just want to postpone and get another bridging visa to renew the visa so that we can continue to go to work.
You guys started work after? According to these Taiwanese workers, too frightened to identify themselves, the scams at Baiada's poultry plant continue. When did you start work?
Last month.
Last month? Mm-hmm. After the government set up the task force?
Yes.
Yes.
And how much are you being paid an hour?
Between $12 and $15.
$12 and $15 an hour, which is less than half the union rate.
Yes.
How are you being paid? Are you being paid into your bank accounts?
By cash.
Cash? Cash in hand?
Yes.
No tax?
No.
No. Most Asian workers employed in these meat and poultry plants are too frightened to speak out publicly about their plight. But Amy Chang has decided that somebody must, even though it may cost her her job.
No worries, it's $4.50, thank you.
In fact, I'm a little bit worried, but I must just say we just wanted something fair. It's just no more work right. Everyone wanted fighting with that, but everyone's scared to lose their job. That needs someone to do that. So that's fine. I hope not got trouble after.